So after you're happy with your lettering, you're going to go up to the brushes and you're going to click one of these watercolor dab brushes. I have 3 of them. There's 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to do the watercolor dab one. And then you're going to go to your layers, which is right here, these 2 boxes, and you're going to alpha lock this layer. To do that, you can either click it and press alpha lock, which will then put a check mark by it, or you can take 2 fingers and swipe right. You'll know that it's alpha locked because there'll be a checkerboard behind the lettering. And then we're also going to click again to show this box of options, and we're going to click select. After you select, you're going to add a new layer by clicking that little plus mark right there, and it's going to pop up a new layer. Now, I usually hide this layer. I usually turn it off because I want to see the true colors of what I'm putting down. If you keep it on like this, like black, you're going to see the colors look like this. And I don't want that. I want the colors to look like this. So to turn that off, you just press that little checkbox right there. But it's still, if you see, your lettering is still going to be there. That's why we've alpha locked it and selected it. So once you turn that, sorry, I'm just going back. Alright, so once you unselect that layer, make sure you're still in this layer above, right here, and you're going to click your color. I'm going to obviously start off with pink, 'cause who doesn't love pink? And you're going to pretty much dab the, you're going to tap, dab the color onto your lettering. And it's going to look like this. And it drives my husband crazy. He hates this little tapping noise, but it kind of gives, I don't know, like a texture right here. You can dab small, which will be lighter. You can dab harder, which will be a little darker. And I always put a little color on the next letter because I'm going to blend it in together, if that makes sense. So go ahead and go to the next color you want. I'm just going to do the rainbow pretty much. And I'm just dabbing color. Can make this bigger, smaller, play with it a little bit, see what you like. Don't really go over this color too much because you want some of that to bleed into the next letter. And then add a little bit to the next letter like this. Add a little bit of color. And then go to your next color. Try to keep that orange there. If you dab next to it, it's going to cover it up. So. And I'll just go a little bit up there. I'm going to do green, but I'm going to change it a little bit like that. If you did what I did right here and you feel like you haven't added like enough color onto the next letter, you can hold this color button down. If you just hold it down for a couple seconds, it'll go to the previous color that you were using. So I'm just gonna add a little more of that blue onto the next one. Okay. So now we're going to smudge this color. We're gonna kind of bleed it out into the next one. Okay, so to do that, you're going to click the smudge tool. It's right here, it's right next to your brushes, and it looks like a little pointer finger. You're gonna click that, and then you're gonna click it again to show up all of these brushes. Go ahead and find your way to all of the watercolor brushes, and mine's already set to light smudge. You can use the darker smudge, but I am gonna stick with light smudge. And then click your canvas, and we're going to kind of pull this color around. So I honestly just like pull it. I kind of even everything out a little bit. Now, the cool thing about this smudge brush is if you, like right here where we're about to blend the pink into the orange, if you hold this brush down for a couple seconds and then move it around, it just gives a better blend. I don't know. It's just the way the brush is. So I'm gonna hold it down for a couple seconds and then I'm gonna pull color. You're just pulling color. And I'm using kind of like a light pressure. Well, actually, it's like a medium pressure. And then when I pull, I'm kind of doing like a light pressure almost. It's very hard to explain. So I just want to kind of get that yellow into the orange and make it resemble watercolor. Now on this, I kind of want it to be a little darker, the orange, just like the oranges over here. So I'm just going to go back to orange. And I'm going to go to my brushes and I'm going to put a little more dab, right, like a little more color right there. That's good. And then I'm going to go back to my smudge. You got to play around with it. That's the best way to kind of learn it, trial and error. And I can mix some of the yellow back into the orange, like that. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I just try to blend it all out. And now if you can see right here, my yellow didn't really, it's kind of light right here. So I'm just gonna take some of the color from right there and pull it over. If you get too close to the edge, it's gonna make your color kind of disappear. So just be careful around the edges. Okay, I like that. All right, so let's blend the green into the yellow. Again, I'm kind of holding down and then I'm pulling the color. Holding down, pulling the color. I kind of want to get some of this yellow up into the green too. And then you see how it did this? It kind of, on the edge there, like when I was blending it, it pulled the color away. You can just kind of pull the color back on there. The smudge tool is my favorite. Takes a little getting used to, but once you got it, it is fun stuff. And I'm just kind of going over the spaces that didn't really get a lot of color in them. I'm gonna start with this darker area and blend it to the side. If you like your lettering lighter, it's fine. I just start with mine kind of darker, and then if I want it lighter, I'll do that at the end. So just hold down and pull that color. hold down, pull that color, and sometimes I'll do like a motion like this just to try to make it look real. Yeah, a little more blue down here. And I'm just blending them colors together. Doesn't have to be perfect because, as we know, watercolor isn't perfect. It always seems like if a color is really light and you're going into a dark color, it's harder. So like if I'm trying to blend these two together, I'll kind of start where it's one color and pull the next color onto it. I hope that makes sense. Okay. That is the end of part 2. Go ahead and click the link in my description to head to part 3.